Morta, a non-linear dark fantasy FPS that started as a clone of Shadow Tower Abyss, but taking inspiration from other Fromsoft titles, Berserk, Morrowind, and the Zelda series, the game became something more. Mohrta is the latest title in the catalog of games Scumhead has developed, but this time he collaborated with an artist, Osiol. When I played the demo for this game, one level covered me in a blanket of immersion. 1-2, the ancient mausoleum. So walk with me. I want to give you a peek into the world of the strange. Before you're allowed to enter the mausoleum in the first place, you have to do some easy platforming to pull a lever. On the left, you will have a sleeping skeleton creature. In a large space, they're relatively easy to deal with. After disposing the enemy, it's likely that you'll find an NPC, Ryuk, and he's your little bro. The objective of the area is to light the 4 statues, and the switches to light the 4 statues will be behind one of the 4 doors. The door I pick has some beetles. Moving on, I tread carefully because I wasn't quite confident in my aim just yet. The beetles themselves have a grounded and flying variant. Both have ranged attacks, and both are easy to deal with one-on-one. While the player is given a limited amount of mana, the special attacks from both guns, shotgun and revolver, dispose of everything here quickly, so I light the first statue. From here, the player can opt to backtrack to the main room, or they can go through the sides as all rooms are connected. I picked the former of the two. Going to the small maze, I find more skeleton-based enemies. For the basic skeletons, I opt to use the sword to conserve bullets. But for the necromancer, I pull out the gun. Of course, with the 4-legged skeleton creature, the shotgun comes out. I use the shotgun special attack quite often in my run. The satisfaction of getting a kill with it never disappeared for me. In the 3rd room, I know that you simply go up the stairs for its lever, but I go underwater instead. With the Grove Garden being featured in the demo, I know some of the secrets, and the reward you get for it is a strange ore. The rewards you obtain generally when you find a secret will be the strange ore, like here, or the button of a doll. The more buttons you have, the more times you can heal. Doing a 180, I go back to the waterfall room. As serene as this low poly room is, there are 2 monsters in here. A small one and a large one. So the shotgun comes out. The 4th and final room I go to was extremely annoying when I first played it, and here it almost gets me killed. There are 2 ranged enemies, so you have to pick them off one by one. If you know where the small range skeletons come out, you can take them out really efficiently with the sword. I still get jumped, but I live barely. In the small arena, there's one last obstacle, which I feel requires a shotgun. Now, I know I could have walked back to the save point to recover HP, but I chose not to because I wanted to add a little bit of challenge. Going back to the main door to progress, I get a surprise party. And then, after this encounter, we have one more, and some good low poly eye candy just before the boss. The Ancient Warrior is a stationary boss that only starts being vulnerable after the animation's complete, although I keep shooting. The boss has multiple attacks: a knockback with a sword, 3 slashes that have shockwaves that you can jump over, he can summon basic skeletons, he can do a sword slam that makes a rock pillar, and then he can make rocks fall. Now, on the first 2 attempts, I make the mistake of not dodging when I need to, tanking 1 too many hits. That's on me. On the 3rd attempt, I make fewer mistakes and pull it together. I get the win by jumping when I need to, as well as managing the ads. I think he's a good boss for the end of the Ancient Mausoleum. He's not super challenging, yet he's a bit of a step up from the previous boss, Julie. She's a fun fight, but I wasn't expecting her to look like that, and I don't think you were either. In any case, this is the end of the area, and once you beat it, you get the submachine gun, the Bone Riddler. Now, I actually want to go more in depth on the gameplay and my feelings about it. Morta is my favorite kind of point-and-click adventure, an FPS. There are many kinds of guns, but they will use one of 4 kinds of ammunition fruit: blue, tan, green, and red. There are also melee weapons that aren't the sword. All weapons have a basic attack and a unique skill that use mana. All weapons can be upgraded by strange ore. You can also obtain ore from dismantling weapons. Just know, when you do that, you'll never get that weapon back. Our Gen 7 Hayward is able to dash, which comes with iframes. If you dash and jump, you'll be able to cover more ground. You can recover HP and mana by squeezing the plushie and using the mana gourd, which both of them can be upgraded too, so you can use them more often. The player also has access to permanent HP upgrades. Then lastly, we have our organic lantern beast, Van, the light source. He's a good boy. For level design, like I mentioned at the beginning, one of Scumhead's inspirations is Fromsoft, not just one specific game, but all of them. So it shouldn't be a surprise when I say the levels are kinda set up like Demon Souls. You have a central hub, the Metro Nexus, similar name to the Nexus in Demon Souls, and you have 5 levels to go to. There is a final level in Morta, and it does come with a final challenge, which is unlike Demon Souls. If you know, you know. Within the normal levels, there are 3 acts. At the end of each act, you have a boss, but Act 3 will have 2 bosses. On the first playthrough, levels seem to be 15 to 20 minutes long, until you reach the boss. Generally, the levels will have the player just get to the end or require keys to progress. As you can see, the gameplay is simple to get a handle of and it's pretty good. The level design is fine too, but would you believe me if I said the gameplay was the weakest aspect of Morta? Not by much, mind you, but Morta's gameplay was at its best from early to mid-game. I played the levels in numerical order, so I felt like I was challenged from Worlds 1 to 3. Special shoutouts to World 2 for having 2 bosses that made me feel like I shouldn't be there at the moment. That said, experiencing those levels were the best moments I've had. When I reached World 4, the desert, I didn't feel quite the same, as I beat those levels a lot easily compared to before. When I noticed I had enough buttons, I just healed through most of the fights late game without thinking about my strategies too much. I won't be including the final boss in that one because that one is fine. Otherwise, I guess it dawned on me that I wasn't thinking about how I was playing by the time I got to the frozen snowfield. The only thing I was worried about was whether or not I could do the shotgun flip. Even if the game recommends you do 1-1, any of those -1s can be the player's first. So I understand the game has to be balanced around that. I don't want to seem like the gameplay is that lackluster. A cool aspect of the gameplay are the guns that you can use. Admittedly, my favorite was the trench gun, aka the shotgun. It was the only one I upgraded at the end of the game. There were other guns that I loved trying out, like the cards. The cards have a unique skill that gives a random effect every time you use it, and it only costs 1 mana. It's effectively gambling, and I love it. I swear I'm not an addict. Also, the flamethrower and grenade launcher were used quite a bit too. I also found the special enemies, the other Haywards, to be really cool. The first one I came across had a bit of bite to it. I guess if I had a harder mode to play on, I might have not thought that the gameplay itself was lackluster. I believe a hard mode or a new game plus would be a great addition to Morta. Trust me, I know having enemies become bullet sponges would be tedious and annoying to deal with, so I wouldn't have the HP and defenses too high. I would also consider sitting at the checkpoint, respawning enemies in that area. As it is now, the player can go back and save with every monster they kill, in theory. In practice, I didn't do that myself. I actually cleared a good portion of the levels, unlocking shortcuts before going back. But on the occasion I did screw up badly, in the middle of a trek, I could just go back and heal if I wanted to. Not all games need that mechanic, but for a harder mode, it could elevate the experience, especially if that is saved for after you beat the game once. Especially because at that point, the player would know how to get through the worlds more efficiently than a new player. Having a mode with more challenging enemies, with more HP and defenses, and respawn when you sit down can spice up a second playthrough. And if something like this does come up, you don't have to touch the Vanguard. I swear it's fine just the way it is. God, that fight was rough. I will admit though, players might want to re-experience Morta because they want to revisit the worlds for its lore and its vibes. I love the presentation of this game. I pretty much gave it away at the intro. While I do have an affinity towards low poly, it's the art style that truly carries the look. Every single world has an interesting vibe, and every single area of each world was eye candy. I enjoyed just being in the world. All of the character designs are fascinating as well. I'd say my favorite would be the desert, because the gestures look so cool. As far as the looks of just the world, I would say my favorite would be the swamp. Crazy to say this when Fromsoft is one of Scumhead's inspirations, and I hate swamps in those games. The final area transitioning from a swamp to this? I love it. I want to mention when I did play the demo for this game, the animations for the sword swings were stiff, but it was changed for the full game and I appreciate that. And then the music for every level, and I mean this, was just that good. Listen, Scumhead has made killer tracks that range from atmospheric to intense boss music, and I'll give you examples of both. An intro to a level and an intro to a boss fight. When it comes to the presentation of Morta, I enjoyed everything. The only bad thing about it is that some of the animations are janky, if you look at them long enough. The most I can say is, fix that and we're good. Nothing else bad to say here. The story and lore of Morta were also parts of the game that I was invested in. The player is a Gen 7 Hayward that was revived in 1863. His main objective is to retrieve Evelyn, a Gen 1 Hayward, dead or alive. If you travel to the first area and fight Julie and win, you will come across Evelyn, who tells you he was the reason the Strange got so out of hand. He wanted to let you specifically in, but the bandits got through the cosmic fissure and caused trouble. His goal was to use the strange for humanity's benefit, while also keeping it alive, as he believes life is life no matter what shape it takes. So pretty quickly, you are given two sides, the Hayward and Avalon. Throughout Morta, you will experience multiple side quests and even talk with NPCs that all have different encounters with the strange. The player is to make their own decision on who they want to side with. All the side quests I completed were good, but I really like the Molten Caverns quest line. I love when quests in games are more involved than simply fetching an item, or the equivalence of kill 10 monsters. For every time you get further in his quest line, he gives you lore about the place that you're in. This might be a cop-out, but I don't want to spoil any of this because I want people to experience this for themselves. Just know, he's my bro. I'm just happy that the game isn't just lore in the descriptions, as there's more to the story. Overall, this game, Morta, is a fantastic FPS with a world I think everybody should play through it and experience it for themselves. Despite the fact that I only felt the game was easier after the midway point, I still found myself enjoying the game. The time I spent with it never felt wasted. Experimenting with different guns, exploring the ruins, hanging out with the homies, it was just a good time. Honestly, I wish some of the areas were a bit longer, but maybe that would run the risk of it overstaying its welcome. But in any case, if you are interested in first-person shooters with a strange world, Morta is $19.99 on Steam only. I haven't played any FPS like Mohrta, but hey, maybe someone might make a similar game in the future. Anyway, that's it from me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.